recently we've seen an influx of people from other states, other areas. I mean, we have people come here from all over the world, but it's been interesting. I've just recently had clients from California, Oregon, and Florida. And these folks are all relocating to Cincinnati for a variety of reasons, and ones that maybe would surprise you. So today we are going to talk about Cincinnati, the good, the bad, and how it compares to some other places and maybe where you live. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of dive right in, and we are going to talk about natural disasters. We see maybe a tornado here and there. We might get a scare once a season, but one that actually hits and does damage probably every 20 years or so. There was a horrible one a few years back in Dayton, Ohio, that did create a huge mess, and I think they're still cleaning up from that. And what was interesting is living in Mason, we actually could see the sky was just lighting up. It was so weird. And we had no idea that that was even what was going on. So tornadoes, yeah, they're a very real thing here. That's why most people do want to have a basement in their house. If you do not have a basement, I would say find a friend with a basement. You can go to the innermost part of the house, usually a bathroom or maybe a closet, and then cover yourself with mattresses or something like that. But you're going to feel way better chilling out in the basement, especially in the middle of the night. There are also some areas of town that are on or near rivers. We have multiple ones that flow through the area. And if you're in a certain part of town, you may be required to have flood insurance. I've only seen New Richmond flood. I've seen flooding in Morrow and in some other areas, but beyond that, most of the flooding happened years ago, and it's literally just to make sure that you're not at risk of losing everything. It's very expensive to clean it up, and just remember that if you do not do a lot of insurance on your personal stuff, it's a little cheaper. Also, it's not required unless you finance the home. Somewhat like car insurance. Just a few parts of town that you might need flood insurance. Definitely New Richmond. You want to check there. Sycamore Township, Loveland, Morrow, South Lebanon, parts of Hamilton, and definitely New Miami. A big chunk of their kind of downtown area is all in a flood zone. Just so you know, since 1913, levees have been built, and most of the rivers are very, maintained within their kind of boundaries. But yes, there are a few areas that it can tend to flow outside of. So we do have snow events and really heavy thunderstorms that usually cause trees to fall down, knock out the power, possibly remove shingles from your roof or siding, fascia, soffit. But it's usually small amounts, as long as we're not having a tornado. Now, I know that all of these things seem like cons, reasons to not move to Cincinnati. However, let's consider the things that we don't have. Hurricanes, earthquakes, forest fires, sinkholes, maybe a few, but it's not something we see often, and mudslides. Now, we have seen some mudslides, but very rarely. I have to tell you, there is also a part of town that is considered a slow-moving landslide. I've never heard of this, but I was looking at a house to purchase down in the Clifton area, and they had fixed the foundation. It basically cracked again right after they did it. And that was actually part of the structural engineer's report, that it was fine, but yeah, it was going to kind of stay the way it was because It was a slow-moving landslide. But now if we're going to talk about natural disasters, we also have to talk about insurance. So our property insurance is, I would say, on average, $95 to $100 a month. You go to Florida, and there's a whole new kind of thing about like your roof can't be more than 15 years old or 10 years old. Like it's really hard to even get insurance. And then when you do get it, it's more than double what ours is. And also probably depends if you're like on the coastline or you're in the middle of the state. I don't know what all they're doing these days, but when I did look it up online, average was about $2,400 per year. And that means there's going to be some lower, there's going to be some higher, but most likely $200 or more per month. We also know that car insurance here is less expensive. I just had someone move here from New Jersey, and they were super excited about how much they were going to save in car insurance. So I thought that was interesting. I forget that that's a thing, but you know, it just makes Cincinnati look better and better. So next we're going to talk about the cost of living and the cost of homes. So obviously our home prices are much more reasonable than a lot of places. We are one of the more affordable areas to live in, according to U.S. News and World Report. But also, if you live here, you're probably going to also spend less, which means you're going to make less, which means it's really kind of the same as living in a more expensive area. I feel like it's all pretty relative, but we just figured out the way to crack it. All right, if you can work for a company in a really high paying area, but work from home and live here, score. Like that is the most amazing concept ever. I love it. One of my clients just came up with that the other day when he ran into some folks who worked in California, or their companies were in California, but they decided to move here. And so let's remember that, yes, you will pay less for most everything. So groceries, home goods, and utilities. I don't think I remember a time when our utilities or our electrical grid just stopped working due to overuse. The other thing is water. Water here is tasty and plentiful. You know, we're not running out. Okay, next on the list, wild animals. So around here, everything's kind of a woodland creature of some sort. Deer, raccoons, and squirrels, and chipmunks. But we do have coyotes. If you have small children or small animals, I would definitely recommend being careful where they are outside after dark. There are plenty of other animals. I'm sure there are parts of the state where there are maybe a bobcat or something. I feel like someone has mentioned some sort of mountain lion or something, but it's not here that I'm aware of. Cougar or something. I've not heard or seen that at all. I personally think the most annoying animals that we have here are Canadian geese. They just hiss at you, they get mad, and you're just like, dude, like, I just want to get my pizza. Can I get out of the car already? But after a conversation with my folks from Florida, I decided that I really should just chill out because they have bears. Bears that get in their trash cans, like all up and down the street. They've got gators. Yeah, no, I'm out. Right? I mean, is that how you feel? I do not think I could live in that type of environment where I want to go ride my bike or take a walk and I can't get near a body of water or I might lose a body part. Like, this just does not sound like fun. Golf becomes an extreme sport. No. So I would be remiss if I didn't at least discuss crime. I think that the thing that most people remember is that there have been some very serious things that have happened with the police, and then there was rioting, which was not pleasant either. And I really hope that people have learned from all of that and that it's in our past. But, obviously there's no guarantees on that. What I do know, speaking with clients from the Northwest, they, come here and they feel like a weight has just been lifted from them. They said that when they are at home, that it just feels like everyone is on edge. Everyone is so tense all the time. There's just this kind of frustration within a lot of people there. And so coming here, they feel like we're nice, we're friendly, we can get along with each other, and things typically, don't escalate quickly over nothing. Again, Cincinnati, not perfect, but we've been called friendly. All right, so another very serious thing is that we do not have mass transportation. I mean, yep, there's a few buses, there's probably some taxis, but pretty much it's Uber or your car. Now, there might be a couple small areas of town where you could, be able to walk to a grocery or, walk to a few different places, go get some food, and you could walk home. But if you ever want to go on a Target run or pick up some furniture at IKEA, yeah, you're going to need a car. The city kind of talked about trying to find a way to get people from out in the suburbs, downtown. And I think they realized quickly that was just going to cost a lot of money. So it ended up becoming a streetcar. And that streetcar, instead of really bringing anyone in from from outside, it just does a 3.6 mile loop connecting downtown with over the Rhine and breweries. Apparently there's 18 stops. You could walk. It's just another fun part of Cincinnati and the government and the misuse of funds. So yes, with misuse, that also brings us to taxes. If they spend money that they really shouldn't have spent, didn't do it properly, then they come back to the citizens and ask for more in taxes. And our property taxes are police, fire, schools in most areas. And then you might have a charge for lights or stormwater, something or other. And then if you actually live in Hamilton County, in certain areas of Hamilton County, you may have the zoo, university hospital. You may have the stadiums. So there are a lot of things that are added into that tax. And I think it just depends kind of on where you live. There are some locations where they pick up like large trash items. They'll just say, hey, we're getting TVs today. And everybody puts their TVs out. The city will come pick them up. Or one place has tree removal. They just know that there's a lot of people who can't afford to take care of them. And so therefore they do it. Their taxes are higher. But again, at least your house isn't falling in because of a tree. What do you think of Cincinnati? Would you move here? Because we understand that we don't have surf, we don't have mountains, we don't have, a lot of things that make some places just completely beautiful. But hopefully we got you with the friendliness. All right. Let us know what you think. We would love to chat with you if you are considering making a move to Cincinnati, and we will gladly help you find where you belong right here.